Hey everyone, welcome to Locked On Lakers for a Sunday. Brian Kamenetsky here. The Lakers grind one out in New Orleans behind 31 from Anthony Davis and 27 from Dalton Knecht. Break it down next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and obviously sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays. No matter how or where you get your podcasts, this one's always going to be free and never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 26,000 subscribers are all, you know what? They're happy at the results. If not necessarily the process that got the Lakers there. The Lakers now run their record to 9-4 with a 104-99 win over the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans. Second night of a back-to-back. You could certainly see that for the Lakers. They were tired. They looked slow, very sluggish, particularly in the first half. Brian Kamenetsky here. Andy Kamenetsky is doing radio tonight, post-game radio for ESPN. So in LA. So I will just handle this myself. Look, there are going to be games like this over the course of a season where the team does not play as well as it should, where the circumstances are not ideal. In this one, obviously, the Lakers second night of back-to-back playing without Rui Hachimura as they did on Friday, but also Cam Reddish, who had a tendon thing going on in his foot and ankle. And so he was unavailable for Saturday night's game as well. So, yes, they have their stars. Yes, they're also playing a team that is on the second night of back-to-back and fairly decimated by injuries. So, no Rui, no Cam Reddish, no Vanderbilt, and so on and so on, no Jackson Hayes. The Pelicans are not going to give an ounce of sympathy for that. They are down to basically Brandon Ingram and a lot of guys that only the most hardcore of basketball fans have ever heard of. So, look, I mean, yes, this was not a good team they were playing. They are 4-10 now overall, the Pelicans. But they came out and they played very, very hard. They took the Lakers, I think, a little bit by surprise. The Lakers, again, very sluggish early, and went down at the half by 10. They were being out-rebounded on the offensive glass. They were being out-rebounded on the defensive glass. It was just, the Pelicans were working harder than the Lakers were, which is not surprising. The one thing that a team like New Orleans is going to do is work really hard. When you have a bunch of guys who are kind of trying to figure out ways to carve out a space in the NBA, Javonte Green, Brandon Boston, Jamal Cain, Trey Jemison, Jalen Noel. These are not household names. Obviously, they are not guys with big contracts and long-term NBA futures that they can see. They're going to come out and they're going to play real hard. Like, the one thing they are going to do is play really hard. And I think the Lakers were not well prepared for that, mentally, physically, whatever. It's just incredibly sluggish in a disjointed first half. In the third quarter, however, they come out and they play a 29-15 quarter. They build the lead. The lead is erased. They eventually build it back up as much as 10. And to their credit, the Pelicans came back. But, at that point, the Lakers were back in the game. And they win it. It was not pretty. It is not anything that I think they're going to be terribly proud of in terms of their execution or in terms of the quality of the play. I do think they will be very pleased with the kind of the ability to grind out a win on a night where not a ton was going right for them, again, particularly early. And this is something that good teams are going to be able to do. Ideally, you go in, you get up 10, 15, 18 on a team like New Orleans, and you can kind of put it in cruise control and, get LeBron some rest instead of playing 37-plus minutes and Anthony Davis some rest instead of playing 37-plus minutes. That would be ideal. Austin Reeves played 41 in this game. That would be ideal. This was not one of those nights for the Lakers. They had to grind it out. They had to find a way to win when things weren't going well. Similar to the Memphis game, after Anthony Davis gets in foul trouble, got to find a way to grind out a win against a shorthanded team, but one that had a lot of size in the case of Memphis, and that's exactly what they did. They are looking at an opportunity to go 10-4 if they can win Wednesday at home against Utah, a game they absolutely 100% should be able to win. I believe that game is Wednesday. And are they getting as much attention as other teams in the West? No. Do they seem fairly vulnerable in important ways? They do kind of seem that, but they are 9-4 in a very difficult conference. They have an opportunity to go 10-4. And even if a couple things even out, you think they're not as good as their record, whatever it might be, stacking up wins now gives them the opportunity to weather a week or two where LeBron and AD are out, or a stretch of bad play, a couple bad breaks, whatever it might be. These games are critically important for giving the Lakers an opportunity not just to hang out in the top 6 and avoid the play-in in the Western Conference, but also some cushion if stuff goes wrong over the course of the year. Lakers have had a lot of injuries, but knock on wood, Anthony Davis and LeBron James have been pretty healthy, save the one game that AD missed. Like, that isn't going to last every game this season. They are going to miss some games. Those games are going to be harder to win. Winning these ones makes a huge difference. I mentioned in the open, 31 points for Anthony Davis, 12 of 20 from the floor, 14 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. He continues to play MVP caliber basketball. How many wins the Lakers have to start piling up before AD gets, those early season vibes, where the conversation starts to center around him. I don't think he was anywhere near it going in the preseason, because nobody expected the Lakers to be anywhere near the top of the conference. That's usually where MVPs come from, from the best teams in the league. The Lakers will have to hang out here for a little while, but if they do, the case for Davis is just going to keep getting stronger and stronger, because it is obviously what he is doing that allows the Lakers to be winning the games that they are. Again, 31 points, 14 rebounds, dominant inside, and it's just these are huge numbers that he's putting up. LeBron, the 4 consecutive triple-double streak ends. I was texting with Andy over the course of the game, and it's like, the man can do superhuman things, but every once in a while you are reminded that he is pushing 40. And, these second nights of back-to-backs, admirable that he's playing. Not every star would. He has the flexibility. If the Lakers needed to rest him, they could. The NBA obviously wants everybody playing. But there are sort of grandfather rules for the super duper old guys, where the Lakers, if they really needed to just rest LeBron, they could figure out ways to do it. But he played, and it was a rough go, particularly early. Really, through most of it, he hit 2 critical threes down the stretch, the only 2 threes he hit in the entire game. But 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. So the triple-double streak ends. He actually had 6 turnovers. So 1 more turnover than he had assists. So, it was not an efficient game. 8 of 19 from the floor for LeBron. But again, I mentioned those 2 huge threes down the stretch in the fourth quarter were what helped keep the Lakers in front, even after New Orleans took a 1-point lead with just a few minutes left in the fourth. So I'm not going to call it a bad game for LeBron, but you are going to see some of these limits that are put on him based on where he is in his career. And I think these games, second night of a back-to-back, particularly when you look at how hard fought Friday night's win over San Antonio was, for LeBron to come back and play in this game, it was going to be, these are the ones where the Lakers are going to have to figure out ways to pick him up. And speaking of that, Dalton Knecht inserted into the starting lineup along with Max Christie, because I mentioned both Cam Reddish and Rui Hachimura are out. Whoa. I mean, the potential for what Knecht can do is really quite amazing in terms of how he can change what the Lakers have. He was 5 of 10 from 3-point range, and it was his 3-point shooting that really got the Lakers going in the second half. And the Lakers have had guys who can shoot. D'Angelo Russell is a good shooter. They've had different players come through. Austin Reeves is a good shooter, but they are not shooters. And the Lakers, and I'm not saying Dalton Knecht is as good as Klay Thompson. He is not as good. I'm not saying he's prime JJ Redick at this point in his career or whatever. But those are a certain kind of player where their ability to shoot from anywhere, shoot with any kind, off of a screen, sure, catch and shoot, no problem. Whatever it might be. He is one of those guys that can shoot, get his shot off quickly, and do it off of any kind of setup that you want in your offense. And Knecht, again, finishes with 27 points, 10 of 17 from the floor, 5 of 10 shooting. He also had 7 rebounds. He had 2 assists. He had 2 steals. He was a plus 11 in a game where the Lakers won by 5. So he was obviously having a very positive impact on this game throughout. And, I thought one of his most impressive plays actually came, I believe it was setting up LeBron's first of the 2 threes that he hit, where Knecht put the ball on the floor off from the three-point line, left side of the floor, dribbled, penetrated. Instead of putting the ball up, kind of went under the basket and threw a pass out to the perimeter to Austin Reeves, who moved it over to LeBron, who hit that open 3. And that, to me, is an indicator of the type of player and the type of impact that he can have on an offense. When you look at that, that wasn't him shooting. That was the threat of him, but then the floor awareness to make the right pass to Reeves. Reeves makes the next pass to LeBron, and you get a really clean shot. So he is just a very good offensive player. He's pretty good passer. He is working hard defensively, I think, if not always smart. He is, he's doing the best he can, and is, I think, improving. But that offense and the effect that he can have on the offense, the conversation we've seen it this weekend, we've seen it the last few games, like the conversation is going to start happening where people are wondering if he just needs to be in the starting lineup, period. And whether that's for Cam Reddish, when Cam is healthy, or whatever it might be. This sort of impact, if you have a guy who can do this on your team, to just bring him off the bench may not be the right thing. And, if the defense can hold up. So plenty to unpack from this game that we will get into for Monday's show when Andy's back, obviously. So, but all in all, a 2-0 mini road trip for the Lakers. I would have been happy with a split and an opportunity to go 9-5, would have been 9-5 against Utah on Wednesday. Now it is an opportunity to go 10-4, and that is a really good start. Better, I think, than most Lakers fans were anticipating, even the most optimistic ones. So lots come this week. We'll get you ready for the next round of the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, and good weekend for the Lakers for sure. Do want to let everybody know that Locked On Lakers is brought to you by BetterHelp. Look, everybody understands, I think most people understand, that life is tricky. The ebbs and flows mean that, you can go through rough patches. And for anybody who's ever been there and had an opportunity to speak with a therapist, I think most of people would certainly my experience is that those are opportunities that can be very helpful, whether that's something that you do on a regular basis, whether that's something you do when you really feel like you need it. One way to do that, if you're thinking of starting therapy, is to give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online and is designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. All you do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. You do that today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Locked On Lakers is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. quite a return there. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So get that hunch in the middle of a game, the tickle behind your ear, whatever your tell is that you've got this thing figured out. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. We will see everybody on Monday.